people with like the perfect running body, and you're like, no, that's not me. But like, if you run, you're a runner. That's what we always say.
That's everything. That paralyzes everyone. Like, I'm not, if I can't be like what I see as like the best, then I'm not actually going to try at all. Right? So how did you move past that mentally? Was it
Hello, my name is Brittany Hofer, your host of the Color Me Happy podcast. I am so glad you're here. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. If you want more weekly content just like this, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram at Brandy Hofer Studios anytime. I'm happy to chat. That's where I sit. And I'm so glad you're here, and I cannot wait for you to dive in. So give us a like and subscribe and check the rest of our channel out.
Let's do this.
Let's try to do it. Okay, so the life of a parent and creative and podcaster and everything is, I forgot my dad is in Edmonton today, and kids are home from school. So the kids are staring at us while we do this, but it should work out kind of, I think. Welcome, Brittany. Thanks for being here. I'm so excited to have you. Brittany is a videographer, but also avid runner. And we're going to talk about both of those journeys today because we have an upcoming local run that you were advocating for.
Yes.
And I want to hear about your running journey and also just your life as a creative and the fact that we're all very multifaceted people, and that's allowed. And I think we don't have to be defined by this like one thing that we do, you know? So not a lot of people know that I run because it's like my one thing I do, like with my kids or alone, and I don't share a lot about it because it's like a moving meditation. So when you find that balance between like work, family, play, right?
Is there a balance?
No, there isn't. But that's a only really way to say it is like the balancing between, because that's what it is. It's not like we have the part, it's balance. Like you just saw my kid have a minor meltdown. Like there is no such thing. Like we are always leaning to like something, right? Something's taking more attention. So I want to talk about that today. How did and when did your running journey begin?
So in 2019, I was at Home Hardware, our like favorite local hangout coffee spot, and there was a poster that was like Coach to 5K, and I was like, that sounds really cool. I used to run when I was younger, but I would just go and run laps on the track or something, and I was like, that sounds really cool, just to like ease into it and like start with a group of people. And so I did the program at our local park, and I've been running ever since.
So you're hooked.
Yeah, almost 6 years, I guess.
Yeah. And do you remember like being afraid to go to the...
Yeah, it's like really intimidating when you first show up and you're like, I'm not a runner. Like so many of my friends now even say we're not runners, because you look at like elite runners or like people with like the perfect running body, and you're like, no, that's not me. But like, if you run, you're a runner. That's what we always say.
That's everything. That paralyzes everyone. Like I'm not, if I can't be like what I see as like the best, then I'm not actually going to try at all. Right? So how did you move past that mentally? Was it like the connection with others, or like what makes you keep showing up?
Yeah, that's a big one. Like everyone is so friendly in the running community. It really like sucks you in, and like everyone's just willing to give you tips and like talk about their nutrition or their races or what they're doing and how they got into it.
I talked about nutrition. Yeah. Everyone is like so, like even if you don't want to hear it, we will tell you about the thing that's working for,
And I also find there's like such a big overlap between mental health and running. And so like so many of my running friends will just like get in these really deep combos about like our anxiety or like our mental health and like why we're running, just to like process that and escape it a little, right? And just like focus on something else for a bit.
Yeah. And it's like the getting outside element.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Like, especially for us. So we live in a climate that is so cold. So sometimes we can't even run, right? Yeah. Like, you have to go indoors, which I can't do. It's treadmill and indoor running is like a new kind of torture for me. Like I'll do elliptical or I'll do weights or I'll do yoga inside, but like the running thing, it has to be
if you're not going somewhere,
outside.
It's hard, right? It's like a mental thing to push through.
Yes, it must be a mental thing. I'm just like, I am so bored already. Even if there's music or a show. Like I just can't. It's because I like it as a moving meditation. So that's kind of later in life for you, 2019. That's not too long ago.
No.
Yeah.
And like during the pandemic, it was so nice because I was a way to like socialize with people safely outdoors. You could go running, you could get activity, like physical activity in, and good for your mental health, right? Because you're seeing other people. So that was really nice.
Yeah. Just how old were your kids right then? They would have been little.
Yeah. So my youngest was born in 2018. So
yeah,
and I started pushing them in the stroller. Like we had a chariot. I think you had one of those too, like a little bike trailer thing that you can push, and that's a really good workout too.
Oh my gosh, I know. I think I was in the actual best shape ever. You don't know how much of a workout you're getting pushing that freaking thing around.
It's great.
Like, yeah, I see pictures. I was like, I was really fit.
Yeah.
/ nursing. So like there's another
all the output of calories.
Oh my gosh, so much. I remember just eating like 3 sandwiches for breakfast, like an egg sandwich and egg and cheese and peanut butter and banana, and 2 of those because they were so good.
Those sound like great sandwiches.
So, yeah.
That's the other thing. Like, so many of my running friends love eating. So like literally we'll meet at a coffee shop, we'll go for a run, we'll come back, have coffee, have snacks, and it's just like perfect.
Yeah.
Right?
You love the social element of it.
100%.
I'm looking forward to, and it's kind of an excuse. I probably could make more time for the social aspect of running again. It's really good because we're so lacking in connecting with one another, I would say. And it's really hard on mental health. And like, I just like to fit in a 30-minute like loop.
Yeah.
And so that's really easy for me with the 3 kids, and they're not all in school yet and stuff like that. So it's really a struggle, but yeah. And they're all in hockey like 12 to 15 times a week.
Yeah.
So
that's tricky.
Yeah. For a while, I think I'm like, my schedule's pretty full.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that element of what all you talked about was like connecting with people, like talking about what you're eating, keeping you on track, like hitting goals together, right?
Because it's really hard to like not run if you've told your friends you're meeting them somewhere. Like those are the days I'm like, I cannot like skip this run. Like I made a commitment. I'm meeting them at like 5:45 in the morning, and you wake up so tired. But you're like, no, I'm not going to let my friends down. And then you get there and it's so fun.
Yeah.
And you like never regret a run after you do it.
No, you don't.
You don't want to do it. And then after you're like, oh, that was great.
Yeah. I feel like a human again.
Yeah.
I know I'm so grumpy unless I work out. Yeah. But the accountability, I would like when I was in cross country running in school, we did 5 in Red Deer, like the trails are awesome. And, that whole getting into the woods, but also just having people with you, you kind of don't notice how far you're going or how hard you're pushing, right?
So last year I was training for a 50-kilometer race.
Oh my gosh.
And some of my friends and I would run for like 5 hours. And we like never ran out of things to talk about. We'd like plan out our topics before. So we like knew, okay, we're going to talk about like this movie. We're going to talk about like this like event that's happening and stuff. And like time just flies by. You're like eating snacks, you're running around the city, you're taking pictures.
Yeah.
It's great.
Oh, cool. Okay, so tell me about the 50K then.
It was like in these sandhills in Edgerton, Saskatchewan.
Sounds really bad.
The guy that created it, I didn't really practice running in sand. We're like, we could go to Sandy Beach and like run on the sand. I'm like, I don't want to do that. No. So the day of, I just like powered through. But the guy that came up with it, he was like surveying with like a drone on this land and saw all these crazy sandhills in the middle of the like prairies and was like, we should do a race here. And there were like parts that like, it was like a little bit of a hill and there's this giant hill and they like put flags where you have to run. And of course they went up the giant hill.
Oh, God.
Like, yeah, it was like really painful, but it just felt like such an accomplishment. And I just like love accomplishments. Like, I love goals. I love putting my mind to something and just like seeing if I can do it.
Yeah, well, that's something. Like, that's crazy. And especially because you started in 2019.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you can start at any time, anywhere, for anything you want to do. We're not just talking about fitness. We're talking about creative career or whatever it is that you're into and that's always been nudging at you. Like, everyone has to start somewhere. Yeah. And like, I did half marathons. Cool. But like, I don't think it's for me. Like, I'm not a hardcore, like, I don't feel good after I go hardcore. I don't know how many people do, but like, I'm cool with like walking sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you walk when you do a 50.
Oh yeah. No.
Like, I'm not saying I ran the entire thing.
No. But even like, I just know like recovery time, like I can't have 3 days off with my life, the season of life I'm in. Yeah. So like training for 2.5 hours and then like being tired for a couple days, like I can't fit that quite in yet. But I do enjoy the community element and the pushing and striving and being outside, and that's okay too. Like, okay, so you tried being hardcore. It was fun in a season of your life, right? And then it's okay to like I definitely went way backwards, right? I went from like running a whole bunch and for long distances to like, I wouldn't even call my runs really runs now. Like they're like, I bike with Teddy bikes and sometimes he stops, and I do run solo and then I push a little harder then, but like there is no shame in like whatever you do is good.
Yeah. You know? And like it goes back to why you run, right? If it's to like just do an activity with your kids or see your friends or for your mental health, it doesn't matter how far or how long you run. Yeah. It's like 20 minutes. That's great.
Yeah. So, and you can just walk whenever. And I think like you forget how good things feel until you start doing them again.
100%.
Yeah. Like Kaylee, my sister owns a yoga studio and she gets that all the time. I hear it from her. She's like, people always come in and they leave and they're like, I'm so glad I came. I can't believe I haven't been coming. That's the most common.
Just like getting back into something is hard, right?
Yeah. Or it could be like once a week or whatever. Like there's no, again, that elite hardcore vision is paralyzing for people.
Set just like a realistic goal of like, I'm going to move my body this many times a week or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I talk about in my book, and it's called The Hardest Part is Getting Dressed. Is because, so I do it like first thing in the morning. I put my running stuff on and just like I will run the kids to school. Right. So I have my gear on and then
you just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good, see what I mean about like time.
Yeah.
I have to like squeeze
that's
it in,
great.
You know?
Yeah,
and when I had Teddy at home, like, cause he goes to kindergarten now. So I run on the days he goes to kindergarten.
You have like an hour, 2 hour window to like get that done.
But on the days that he wasn't in school, I would take that half an hour. Like I had to be very strict because my husband would watch Teddy for the half an hour and then go to work. So that's like really 8:30 to 9, you know? So there's really no excuse.
You just got to be proactive in planning it, right? Yeah. And have someone like that's a good support partner that can like assist you with childcare or something. Or...
Yeah. Yeah. If you can. I mean, not everyone has that. But when I worked, I ran on lunch breaks and then ate lunch at the computer, you know?
Oh, that's really hardcore. See, you're more hardcore than me.
Yeah, right. I worked at the college and I remember walking down the hall and then the one girl's like, I wish I could run on my lunch breaks. I was like, you can.
You can. Did you get sweaty?
I'm not super sweaty person. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Also, just like take some baby wipes and pat down.
Yeah, I guess there's the element where some people do sweat a lot. Yeah.
And I guess it depends on like the conditions too.
Yeah, no, I didn't have, or I would swim because the pool was right there. That was good.
That was good.
Yeah, I haven't gotten back into swimming since third childville.
Right? Life is crazy.
I know. It's hard on the hair too, which you would know because you have long locks too. Swimming so hard on the hair.
Yes.
Okay, so what are you doing for your creative? I want to hear about the balance between, again, I said balance, but the juggling between your videography and your like running life and family? Like, what's the most challenging element for you?
Try
like,
to do it all
do you have
at
a
all
routine?
times. Like you, I like to start like working out in the morning if I can, but I guess it just all depends on the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really know. I just kind of plan out my week, and I'm like, when can I fit runs in, and then I just
you
try
do
to cram
like
it.
group running on the weekend usually,
if possible. So right now I'm training for the Vancouver Marathon, and then I'm gonna do 100-kilometer race in the fall.
Yeesh.
Fingers crossed. This is gonna be my first attempt, so we'll see. But so that's gonna get a little tricky in the summer, like doing those long runs on weekends. So you're gonna have to like get creative and maybe like split some of them up and like do one part in the morning, one part in the evening, or like if the kids are sleeping or something. So
yeah. I think no routine, like having that set or you put it in the calendar or you decide, I think helps with the whole
and just like picture, taking it week by week and day by day instead of like being like, how am I going to do this?
How am I going to do it?
It's very overwhelming.
Yeah. How can I make that?
You never run a whole 100 kilometers though before you like do it.
No. Yeah. No, I remember the training. I'm not like a schedule-y person, so I would just be like, I'm going to do the 2.5-hour run today or whatever, right?
I'm very like type A, even though I'm creative. I like to be like, okay, this.
Yeah, I'm definitely not.
But I stick to that
schedule, like, I don't write it like, okay, I am very routine because I know because I do the same exercise on every day of the week. So like there's no moving that, right? It's like yoga's Saturday and running Sunday or whatever. So like maybe that's why I never make it to a group run. I'm like, but it will mess with my routine.
I love it.
Right?
Well,
so, and it's a cool way to like get out. And so you hit social aspects, you hit travel, you hit hitting goals, like all around pretty good for you.
Like one of my favorite things to do is go to a different city and just run there. Like if I'm on a trip or something, because it's the best way to see everything. You're outdoors, you can just like move around.
And figure out where you are and like find a cool coffee shop or a new restaurant. You're like, ooh, yes, later. Where am I?
100%. It is the best.
I'm eating the spaghetti here later.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, it is. Some cities, and then some cities I'm like, I don't think I should be here in this area.
Yeah, it's a little sketchy sometimes. That's why you go with friends, and then you're not just like by yourself in a new place.
Or like if you're on a fishing trip, you're like, maybe I shouldn't be running where there's bears or something.
Seriously.
Right?
Yeah.
But it is good to like, that's the thing. All you have to do is pack running shoes.
Yeah.
You can always find a cool hike. Like pretty much guaranteed anywhere you are. We're going to Vegas and I'm like, what the heck? Like, it's not really one of my destinations in life. I don't drink and I don't gamble.
Yep.
So tough one for me.
But you like food, right? They have good food in
that's
Vegas.
What I've heard. Everyone's like silver lining the food. But I have kids. So like with me and my husband will be at like the show, like the wood shows. That's not why we're there. It's actually called something. I always call it a wood conference. I'm like, it's like home buying stuff for Windsor Plywood. But he'll be at like the things. So I'm like, what? I can't just go sip coffee and enjoy my vacation and find good food. Like that's not the same. The pools are closed. So I'm like, there must be like some good hike or something. Or
I'm sure.
Like, yeah, it's gotta be.
I'm sure there might be snakes there though. I don't want to.
What?
Maybe. Because some runners that I see that like run in the desert, they're like, yeah, we have to like be concerned about snakes. I'm like, that's never crossed my mind.
Yeah, I won't be going places if there's snakes. Probably not.
So like maybe they're out of season. I don't know. Like, there's different seasons.
Do snakes have a season? Okay. I think I should chat GPT my trip coming up. And find out, because I do like the organic. It just seems like everything. I'll just have to roll with it.
Yeah,
with where
maybe
I
we can find like some cool art galleries and stuff.
Yeah, the kids aren't into that.
They're not into art galleries.
Not really. Like they like when we were in Montreal, like the Science Center and the Museum of Illusions and stuff like that. Fun. Like they're into that, but like just like paintings on a wall, they'd be like, "Oh, this looks like our house." Like because
there's so much art. I love it.
Or I can make this. Like literally that's how they are inspired. Like good. That's like cool. There are good places. Like yes, there are cool museums. I shouldn't say that. I don't know if Vegas has any really big, cool ones. I got to do some research.
Yeah.
For sure. Like Paris, there would be cool places.
Yeah.
Like the L'Orangerie has all the water lilies and Monet. Like there are definitely. So
my other favorite thing to look up in new cities, I feel like we're getting a little off track here, but it's all arts and related.
Okay, do what we want.
Because I'm on the library board and I'm so passionate about libraries. I love going to other cities and checking out their libraries because usually they're like in really old buildings or they're like really like creative, like modern designs, and like, yeah, it's really fun. So maybe you could check out the library in Vegas. Maybe they have different branches and different spots.
No one's like, oh, I wonder if they even have a library.
You're like, why would someone go to the library in Vegas?
There? Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Yeah. And kids genuinely love libraries.
Yeah, there's always activities for them, and sometimes they have toys and cool things to explore and learn.
Yeah, they always have something else, like something different other than just like the books. Like for the families like me, where the highlight of our library is the moving shelves for Teddy. So like he clearly has like some moving body attention issues. So like he'll maybe read for 1 minute and then the shelves are just a huge draw to him, which you're not allowed to do, by the way, but yeah. So it's like more like me running after him in there, but it is good. And people work so hard on making them accessible and interesting. And it is almost like art.
And usually, they have art combined with books. That's what I love about it. Like we went to the Vancouver library a couple of years ago and they had like art all over the walls and like sculptures and like things hanging from the ceiling. And it was so cool.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, their library is gorgeous if you ever go to Vancouver.
Yeah. We should check that out. We go to Victoria often, but I don't think we've gone to the library. That's a good idea. But this goes back to the topic. Like, we are multifaceted individuals who can be passionate about all these different things, right? Because you talk about all of like people's pieces of their lives, and there's so many different elements, even like in one day. Like Jessie was on the podcast. She lives behind me. She's she's third national women's champion in her weight class in boxing. Oh, right?
That's cool.
Right?
Like, I've seen her running. She's a runner.
She runs. Yeah. She trains 6 times a week. Amazing. Sometimes more. And like, that's insane too. Yeah. Like, so we've got these women, these incredible women our age who are taking on like 100. Like, this is pretty incredible. Like, it's mind-blowing. Making a difference in our community on like the library board. And you always visit when we're doing mural installs. And like, there's just so much possibility. And that's why I love women so much. I think they're incredible beings. Like, literally, there is no limit to our dreams or like, there's no boundary on it. Did you know when you started that like it was going to become so crazy?
No. Sometimes I'm just like blown away by what I've like been able to accomplish.
Yeah, like a slow evolution.
All just like putting your mind to something, right? And like determination. I feel like it's the biggest thing. Because like your body can like do really crazy things, but it's like your brain, once you get to like, I don't know, like 40 kilometers or something, that wants to stop, but you just have to power through that. But people run like 300, 500 kilometers. Like, it is wild what you can actually do if you just like tell your brain, no, it's fine.
Yeah, we're good. I'm just gonna poop That's like on this tree here.
You do stop to eat and go to the bathroom. Like, you're not doing that while you're running.
Well, some people are racing, so you feel like the race vibe.
This is true.
Yeah. So,
and there is a difference between road like racing, like a marathon, and like trail running. Yeah, which I do prefer trail running.
I do too.
Way more like eating snacks while you're running than like trying to be the fastest person out there.
Yeah, I'm not into that really, and it was hard because it was racing and cross country running, and I hated that pressure.
You can like really compare yourself to everyone.
Personality to like race. I guess.
I feel like if you do a marathon, everyone's like, oh, how fast did you run it? But if you run like 50 kilometers, no one's going to be like, how long did it take you to run 50 kilometers, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to be like, what was your time?
No,
but maybe.
I finished it. I showed up, first of all. I trained for it. Like, those are big check marks for like personal goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a really good experience my first time. It was in a group of women, and they were all dressed up in costumes, and it was so like
fun.
It was so fun, and the community is so supportive, and everyone's giving fist bumps and high fives, and it's just the coolest thing. So, if anyone wants to like check out running, what would be the best way locally? Like, obviously, even when I was in Montreal, living there for over a month, I found a running group there.
And run clubs are like exploding.
It was free, and he obviously wanted everyone to train at his gym eventually, right? But it's still, I got that, but I'm like, I'm only here temporarily, but I get to make friends, see the city, like great things to do. Like, so even if you are visiting a city, you should look up.
I actually did that in the summer when I was in Calgary. I looked up run clubs and just like went to this random meetup. It was wild. I'm like, who am I? Like, I would never do this like 10 years ago. It's like so out of my comfort zone. But I like met some friends and like we became Instagram friends and follow each other on Strava, which is like a Facebook for runners kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, you can always just like go to a different city and just meet random people that are passionate about the things you are. Yeah. But in Lloyd, we have the Lloyd Runners, which I'm a part of. They always do the Coach to 5K. I want to say like once or twice a year. So usually you can find out on their social media pages when that's happening. And that's like a really good starting place because you start walk running.
Yeah.
And like eventually get up to 5K after, I'm like, I need to fact check myself on this podcast. It's like maybe 12 weeks or something. Like it's very like
gradual. And that's the thing, like little steps every day add up, right?
100%. Like
you just all of a sudden are good at something.
Walking for 1 minute, running for 1 minute. And then pretty soon you're running for like 30 plus minutes.
Yeah.
So that's great. And then they usually do like a long run on Saturdays, meeting at like a coffee shop and then having a chat after.
And it's always up there, right? They always
on
remind
Facebook
you.
And stuff. Yeah. People will post when they're going to run. And sometimes like people are like, oh, I just like want to do a run. Does anyone want to join me this day at this time?
Yeah. Maybe I'll come on. Is it Sunday too?
Sometimes like when Home Hardware has their Sunday brunches.
Oh,
we do that.
I'll eat brunch.
Just like brunch and running, right?
That's why I don't do this, because my husband's working on Saturday. Now I know why I never meet you guys. It's because you're on Saturday, and at some point I would have looked that up. Yeah, and I have my kids on Saturday. Not saying they couldn't come, but they're like hard to rein in. And
in the summer they do Wednesday night ones too. I don't know when those start up again, but so
well, I should try to make this week. Because we're probably going hockey or
You'll make it one of these
weeks. But I should make it this week to like to feature the podcast for next week. That'd be good, right? But if you show up for something a couple times a week or every day, like you will get better. I'm determined. I've been handstanding against the wall for 10 months. I was like, at some point,
that's amazing.
At some point though, I'm waiting for when I can handstand without the fall.
It's still impressive.
It's 10 months. I'm like, sure. My arms have never been the strong. My legs have always been the pretty strong part of my body. Yeah. My arms have never they've been pretty scrawny my whole life. So I'm like, surely if I say, this all adds up. I tell people that all the time. I tell them in my book and on my podcast, like, if you stick to something every day, you will get better. But I feel myself stronger.
That's cool.
Right?
And that's the best part, right? It's not like how you look in the mirror. It's like how you feel, right?
I can feel it. It's gradual though. But I feel more confident every time I do it. And then, because at one point every time I ran, I lived with my in-laws right off Bud Miller, so I got to trail run all the time. I would go on the grass and practice handstanding. By the end of the summer, I could handstand. Very cool. But that was in 2012, like a decade ago. So you're like, how do I get there again, So I'm waiting for a good patch of grass to catch me.
You can do it.
My husband was like, after a while, he was like, handstanding is not that hard. And he instantly fell on his shoulder.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I feel bad laughing at him.
But
I thought you were gonna say he just did it.
No, he did not. He fell hard on his shoulder, And I didn't feel bad about it at all. Zero. I was like,
baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps, right? So let's talk about the run coming up in May, right? The other day I was like, March 10th. I was like, it won't be warm out by then. What are they doing? But it's May 10th.
So we run year-round.
Right.
There's actually
run year-round.
a run in February coming up too. That's in the winter. It's called Runderland.
Hold it. The peanut butter? Peanut butter? It should be in there. Keep looking. Climb up in the fridge and take a look around. Yeah?
Real life. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, the February run. What is it?
I want to say it's on February 8th again. I should be more prepared.
Okay, well, you can send me and I'll put it in the notes.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, it's just, I want to say a 5 or 10K.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, bud.
The eggs are in the fridge, yeah.
And then there's usually one in June too in our city around Bud, and I think that one goes up to a half marathon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So there's
lots of
things that have come up, and like you can do color runs for fundraising.
That one's
you can
fun.
do Carrie Fox runs. You can do MS runs. You can do triathlon now. Like there's a lot of cool things that have come up in the last even 5 years. So
because running has like become this really growing sport.
Yeah,
and probably because of the community, like we said, right?
Yeah. No, people love it. But
May
May 10th is, okay, dude, I'm podcasting. What we talked about before, you had to be quiet. Okay, well, I'll help you. Just give me 1 more minute. Okay, so why we're talking today is you're an advocate for the Project Sunrise Run on May 10th. Is it just a 5K? Yes. So anyone can come, walk, run, bike, stroller, anything. So it's accessible for everyone to just get outside. And they're shutting down the streets.
That's really cool.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, come on. You did not prep.
I should be more of an expert for this. And that's why I'm like, I'm not the expert for the run, Brandy.
I only know because I'm helping support the run.
Cool.
And I went to a meeting on Wednesday where I would be just like you. I'd be like, I don't know.
I'm an ambassador, so I'm gonna like be in the videos. I'm gonna run it.
You should do a few more fact checks, but you can register soon coming up. So we'll have that
on the 14th.
As well. So maybe I'll release this around the 14th date, so people can have a place to click and sign up. But it's gonna feel like that marathon feel where people are like cheering you on, and the streets are shut down, and there'll be signs.
That's very cool. I love that.
Yeah, it's gonna be cute. So it's not just like a loop around Bud Miller like a lot of our runs are, which we're so lucky to have.
Yes,
of course, but it will have that community feel because they want as many people involved as possible.
I love that.
So yeah, it's good,
and it's for a great cause, right? Mental health.
Yeah, and I think with our long winters, like knowing that you can meet up a group or they're counting on you to be there is like such a big thing. Like January and February for me personally, and I'm sure everyone else, like sick season and you're inside too much and whatever. It's a tough month. Mental health. Yeah. Like spring always feels so amazing.
Yes.
But it's good. It's good to even get outside in the winter. Like everyone's so afraid of the cold, but you can really dress for the weather.
Yeah, and there's nothing like some fresh air.
And your
frosty eyelashes. Yeah. It's so fun.
I can't wear goggles. Have you figured out a good pair of goggles?
No, I'm not that hardcore.
I know. I go out and I just get really, I have damaged my eyes. Chrissy's like, you have the eyes of an 80-year-old farmer. Like
because
not
of
vision.
Running in the cold?
Running in general, like dirt. And then muraling, like in really, like that big mural was really dusty. So it's like a dust zone, actually. It was like a wind tunnel. And that's when I started noticing the flecks in my eyes. And she's like, yeah, those old like farmers get it from being in the field. She was like, can you wear sunglasses on?
Yeah, could you?
Have you considered wearing sunglasses ever? I could wear some sunglasses, I guess.
Okay, I'm gonna hook you up with a great sunglass rack.
Yeah.
Gooders.
They're I actually got them after that.
They stay on your nose. They're so lightweight. They have really cool colors.
That's part of why I did it. And I just I'm not bothered by this. You have brown eyes. You're probably not that much bothered by the sun as much as other people.
I'm learning so many things about myself from you.
Yeah.
how to eat for my blood type.
Yeah. And you have brown eyes. So did you know this weird fun fact?
I did not know that. Thank you. This is great.
So I did, after that whole event, after I already wrecked my eyes, years of the Gooders, and I get mine from Brixton. They're amazing, and they're super lightweight. And
just don't put them in the washing machine.
Oh yeah, probably not. I think any sunglass thrown in the wash would be bad.
But luckily they're like so affordable if they just like get damaged.
Also that they're like $40, which is insane.
It's great.
But when you bend over, they don't fall off your head.
And when you sweat.
Yeah. 100%. So Brixton Shoes, a good local place if you're local. Even if you're not local, I think they sell them online.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. So, and they're cute. Like I have like little black ones and I have like brown ones and all the colors.
I love their clever names too.
Oh, I've never noticed.
Oh, they're so funny.
Oh, now I'm going to
just like laugh what they like call their sunglasses. Yeah. So fun.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. I got to go to the dentist.
Thanks for having me, Brandy.
And clearly Teddy has no filter because he's doing ABCs and counting. So
that's great.
Looking for the peanut butter. Okay, we'll chat soon. We'll have the link notes up in the notes. Yeah, okay.
Perfect.
If you want to feel empowered and inspired, like and subscribe for more. And if you want to get creative, check out all our art hacks on this channel.